Hi everyone, Rob Kluz, T-Trak Distribution here, and I am excited to share our latest T-Trak-Z module. I've shared modules before in the magazine, Z-Trak magazine. I've done posts on the forums and my Facebook page, but this is really the first time we've ever put like a video album together to kind of show the progression of how this module came together, and we hope it'll help those who are looking to build to go into modules or just do layouts, and we're going to give some highlights of how we did this here. Why we did this module? Well, first let's talk about that. So we build a lot of these T-Track modules to display our products that we're offering. This one's no exception. This double module is actually going to be for our brand new line of steam locomotive servicing buildings. Our good friend Frank Dries at Archistories helped us develop this line. Frank's been wanting to do a coaling tower for some time, and we found this great prototype. We also include a water station as well, so you'll see that in the module. But let's talk about that coaling tower. It's really the feature. The coaling tower is the Redbank coaling tower. It actually sits along the Allegheny River in Pennsylvania, kind of northeast of Pittsburgh, uh, in Armstrong County. So it's really cool because it still exists. So the Pennsylvania Railroad built this. It would sit over two tracks, a double track main line. Steam engines would just run under it. And again, it's butt up right against the water on a hillside. So it's no longer in use. It stopped being used in the 1950s, but it's still there. I mean, it's this massive coaling tower that has a walking trail under it now. So we really wanted to be able to feature that. It was kind of fun because we could get a lot of photos and information on that. But we were really lucky. Brian Hartle, CMR, big shout out to him. He had a lot of the photos of the coaling tower in use today. And we're going to show you one here as you're seeing this actual one as it was built, the black and white image. That image and those images from that really inspired this module. There was a lot of elements that we wanted to capture. So with the water station, if you look in the original photos a little bit off on the left, you'll see some old telegraph wire poles and electrical poles, the station itself, the track, the coin. We want to incorporate that all into a single piece. Why? Because we want to be able to display these products. It can be a standalone piece and just display products and engines, or we could put it into a build and run trains under that tower. That sounds a little crazy, but that's what you see today. All around the country, these massive coaling towers still exist with double stack trains running right under them. It's a really cool feature, and that's something we're going to work on a little bit later. So maybe another video showing modern operations on this. So let's go right into the build. So we've got the tower kit Frank provided for me. I also have the water station, which is dark. It's a metal one. It's going to be based off a Norfolk Western prototype. Again, we did that for American Z Line's J-class steam locomotives are out. And then we actually added one that's a little bit of a European building. We added Archistories' all new Koth weathered locomotive shed. But it really didn't look that European. It looks like a lot I've seen abandoned around railroads and in Eastern PA and Western PA, like those kind of looks. So I was really put that element in of abandoned building. It kind of tied some things together. So let's start off. The module itself is a double module. Again, comes from CMR. So which is ironic because Brian with CMR gave us all these great photos, and that's the base I chose to do this module. The first thing you're going to see is I cut out the front. So the front was to be dropped down. That's where I want to represent the Allegheny River, at least a little portion of that. So I actually cut the base, sunk it down, cut the front, dropped it down. With that done, I went ahead and started building the train. So in this image, you'll see where I have celluclay building the bank of the river. I have foam cut out to kind of show hillsides in the back. Because again, this thing sits on the bank. It goes between the river and the hillside. So there's going to be a lot of terrain with this piece. Probably a little bit more terrain than I usually do. And then you'll see the base. So there's a white portion. That's where the tower is going to sit. As we move forward, you'll see how we start to build this out a little bit more. You're going to see more celluclay. We're going to see the train being covered. I sculpted that foam with a styrofoam rasp to be able to contour it and then apply celluclay over it. Celluclay, if you're not familiar with that product, it is a wonderful product. It is like a paper mache clay mixture. It mixes easy with water, dries super hard, but it's very lightweight. You can carve it, you can sand it, you can stain it, you can paint it. I've been using this stuff for 40 years. Just love it. So a lot of my builds incorporate that. The only thing I will say is when you are doing that is you need to be able to, you may need, it shrinks a little bit, so you may have to go back and add some more layers to it or just, smooth it out a little bit that way. But that's really easy to do. And always let this dry between all my steps. It's really, key to let this clay set up before you move on to the next one. So this build, it's been going on for well over a month or two. I've been working on this a little bit here and there. So obviously it's not a quick one because we had a lot doing with that. With the clay, you'll see I also have the track in place. I've laid out the track early on. I was able to show how I wanted it. I really wanted that spur to go up and connect to where the coal would be dumped into the chutes. I really wanted to nestle that water tower into that curve. I liked how that looked. As we continue to see, you'll see as we move here, I actually weathered the track, rusted the rails, and then we move in to add actual ballast along it and in between the two rails. So in this image here, you're actually seeing the clay has been set up. We are colored the base with like different colors. I always like to color the base of approximate what I want. Greens to kind of go where the grasses are going to be, dirt, browns with the dirt, the soils. I really want that underlayer because if anything shines through when you start putting a scenic in, you really want color there to kind of fill a spot so you don't have a glaring hole on that. And then this kind of gets into more of the fun part. For me now, it's a concept of layers. So with that paint down, the next thing is starting to add that foundation of grasses, foams. You'll see in the top there that kind of foliage that's going to be where the forest sits. So this was a really kind of fun part because again, you're starting to see how this is going to come together. You're starting to see how this piece is going to look. You're going to start seeing where the train is. Real key is I let this set up. So before I even moved on to the next part, I really wanted that to set up. I did a lot of sprays on that foliage with like watered down matte medium and other colors to really set that in. The track you see, by the way, is all from Rokuhan. So big shout out to them. I love their track. Obviously, we distribute it, but it's great. And as we talked about ballasting, painting, weathering, these are all things that make that track just really stand out, but really helps it put it into a realistic setting. And that roadbed is rock solid. So I love that. As this piece dried, the I decided to move on to the backdrop. The backdrop you see is actually photos of the Allegheny River area close to Redbank. Just happened to find it online. Brought it into Photoshop, did a lot of work to kind of blend it in. You'll see that hint of the road. Well, that's going to tie into the module. All this is done to the size. So it's a double board that sits in the back that goes up against the back of that board. Now the really fun part, and now we're going to show you the reveal here, is we've now got the buildings in place, the trees in place, we've got soil, we've got bushes, we've got the whole 9 yards. This is the way this piece is wrapping up. The trees are from JTT, the big line that we really like their trees. You'll notice that I'm going for a little different look. So if you'll notice in the modules, I'm always using the same trees. They're not really that full, they're a little leggy. That's on purpose. I'm trying to create modules that are in the space of like say May, June, late spring, April, May, June range. So not everything's that has bloomed yet, but everything's really green and vibrant. Just something when you do build modules, you want to think about that. You don't want to have spring flowers and fall trees. Like things, looks a little different when you do stuff like that. So for me, I'm really focusing on that spring. This one also is the first time I've actually put in pine trees. I usually don't put pine trees into my builds, but in this one we actually went ahead and did that. So kind of neat look on that. So yeah, there you go. We've got this beautiful layout. We've got this beautiful scene that really is visual. It's set up and measured out so I can actually run double stack trains under that for that modern portion, which I eventually want to do. But yeah, this is it. This is Z-Trak's all new T-Trak-Z double module featuring Archistories, Redbank, Coaling Tower, the Norfolk Western Dark Steel Water Tower, the Cough Shed, Rokuhan track, JTT trees, all on a CMR base that was pre-made for us, so that way we didn't have to do it ourselves. So guys, there you go. Kind of a neat little overview of how we built this thing out. And yeah, that's about it. We're going to have some more updates. So obviously, we want to test run some trains through it and see how that goes. But there you go. Thanks for listening. Rob Kluz, Z-Track Distribution, and hope you have a great day. Thanks. Bye.